Have you ever wondered why a Python program feels slow even on a machine with multiple CPU cores? Imagine your server has 4 CPU cores, but your program is still processing one heavy calculation at a time. It is not using all. So why aren't all those cores being used? That's exactly what we are going to answer today. In the last video, we learned that multi-threading is great choice for IO-bound tasks, like waiting on APIs, database, or files. But today, we are looking at a completely different category of work, CPU-bound tasks, like image processing, video encoding, machine learning, and large data transformations. By the end of this video, we'll know exactly when multiprocessing is the right choice, when it isn't, and you will see a benchmark that makes the difference impossible to forget. Welcome to day 23 of 90 days, 92 equations. Let's crack this together. Here is why this shows up so often. It is one of the highest frequently equations in backend interviews. It is crucial for high performance apps since a slow CPU heavy endpoint can quietly choke your server. And it solves the GI limit from yesterday. Think of your server like a highway toll plaza. Yesterday, one booth had multiple cashiers taking turns at the same drawer. That was threading. Fast but stuck sharing one resource. Today we open separate booths, each with its own cashier and drawer, running independently. So when do you open separate booths? Simple. When the task needs heavy CPU computation, not a network call, not a database query, but number crunching that keeps the processor busy, start to finish. If your code is doing math or compressing something, the CPU is the bottleneck, not the waiting time. That is the moment multiprocessing earns its seat. But here is where most developers get confused. They reach for threads out of habit and wonder why nothing got faster in the program. Picture the chip itself, Core 1, Core 2, Core 3, each running its own process side by side at the same moment. Process 1 is not waiting for process 2 to finish. They genuinely run in parallel, like three toll booths clearing car at once instead of one booth handling everyone in sequence. This is the one thing threading could never give you because of the GIL only lets one thread execute code at a time. Now let's prove this with real example. On the left, you can see I have a function called heavy task. It simply performs a large calculation looping 50 million times. This represents a CPU intensive job. Think of a image processing, video encoding, or running machine learning algorithm. First, let's run it without multiprocessing. I call the function 4 times, task 1, task 2, task 3, task 4. Watch the terminal carefully on the right. Notice something interesting. All 4 tasks are executed by the same process ID. One task finishes before the next one even begins. In other words, the work is happening sequentially, using only a single CPU core. The total execution time is about 9.1 seconds. Now let's make this one small change in our program. Instead of calling the function directly, I create a process pool of 4 workers and use pool.map function over here. That's it. The task itself isn't changed. The calculation is exactly the same, 30 million. Now let's run it again. This time, look at the process IDs. Task 1, task 2, task 3, and task 4. All are running in different processes. Since each process has its own Python interpreter and its own GIL, the operating system can schedule them on different CPU cores. Now all 4 heavy computations run in parallel, and the execution time drops from 9.1 second to around 2.8 seconds. That's over 3 times faster just by allowing the CPU to use multiple cores. This is exactly why multiprocessing is the go-to solution for CPU-bound workloads. Once you know the pattern, you spot it everywhere. Image processing, researching the thousands of photos, machine learning, training models, data processing, crunching massive files or logs, scientific computing, running simulations, video encoding, converting footages, and any large calculation needing raw number crunching. Everyone shares the same fingerprint, have a CPU work. Independent chunks, no shared states needed. This is where interviewers try to trick you. by hiding an IO bound task inside a CPU sounding question. So here is your interview answer. Multiprocessing is best for CPU bound tasks because each process has its own Python interpreter and memory space, allow true parallel execution across multiple CPU cores. Remember our Tool Plaza example? 4 was clearing cars in 9 seconds versus under 3 running separately. That is the difference between a service that scales and one that falls over under load. Say this with that number attached, and you sound like someone who has run the benchmark personally. Naturally, this opens the door to follow-ups. What is the GIL and why does it force this choice? How do separate processes talk to each other since they do not share memory like threads do? What if you genuinely need shared memory across processes? And how does multiprocessing compare to asynchronous? Knowing this before they are asked separates a good answer from great one, and you will be shining. Let us lock in the difference for good. Multiprocessing is best for CPU bound work. Multithreading is best for I/O bound work. Multiprocessing gives every worker separate memory. Multithreading shares memory across threads. That single distinction, CPU bound versus I/O bound, is the fastest way to answer this under pressure. Quick recap before we move on. Multiprocessing is best for CPU bound tasks. It gives true parallelism across multiple cores. Every process gets separate memory and it uses every core sitting on your machine. Simple tip to remember. If CPU usage is high, reach for multiprocessing, not multithreading. That single line sentence will save you in half the interviews that ask this question. And that's our wrap on Module 3 Python Backend Concepts. For the last few videos, we have covered global interpreter lock, multithreading, and multiprocessing. 3 topics that almost every Python backend interview touches on. With this, you now understand how Python handles concurrency under the hood. Exactly what interviewers expect from a strong backend candidate. Starting tomorrow, we begin Module 4 Database Fundamentals. We'll kick things off with a question that surprises even experienced developer. What is OLTP? And why is the backbone of almost every modern applications out there? If you thought managing threads and processing was interesting, wait until you see how database safely handles thousands of transactions happening at the same time. If this video helped you for your interview preparation, give it a like, drop a comment with your biggest takeaway, and subscribe so you do not miss next interview question in the cities. This is 90 days, 90 interview questions, helping you get one step closer to your dream job, one question at a time. See you in the next video.